Boy, I look dark there. Let's see. Trying a new little thingy here, a little device. Let's see. Hey, how's everyone doing? Can you hear me okay? Hmm? Hello, I think that's working. Hearing good. All right. Thanks again, Judy and Kay, or Judith. Appreciate that. It's you know, I love it, but get tired. Especially with this COVID-19. I was going to start out with my mask on just to see, you know. You got to make sure you keep your mask on. Don't want anybody getting any coronavirus. I'm hoping that you all are doing okay and that you're safe and taking care of yourself, because I want everybody to be around. Okay, so I'll take that off. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to start off with just, you know, smiling about what we have to do, but we do what we do because we want to hang around. All right. Oh. So hey everybody, welcome. Sunnyvale, California, Holbrook, Claremont. Yeah, going to miss seeing you. It was Education Week. I'm actually presenting one presentation. They're doing a virtual Education Week this year. So I am. They asked me, instead of doing three, I normally do 3: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, 4. So doing 4 presentations, I only get to do 1. And I'm going over there on Monday to go and pre-record the presentation. So I'll see you virtually at Education Week. Well, my video is frozen on Ron's gut. Uh-oh. I hope, is it Jew? Is it okay now? Oh, there he is. Okay, I'm back. All right. Yeah, that's because I was trying to adjust the lighting, so I moved the camera. Yeah, hot California. You know, I went to take my dog out today in Provo. There, I'm in Provo, Utah, and it was 103 degrees when I was going to take her for a walk, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to do that. So I just ran around the front yard a little bit with her and got the mail. So usually we try to go for a walk every day just to loosen the limbs, you know. Let's see here. I'm thankful that people submitted some questions. Thank you. That helps keep things moving if we need. But as always, you can submit your questions early, and you can put them into the chat. Okay, so we got about, I don't know, 11 or 12 questions in there, which is good. But we'll give it just a minute here. Let me get back. Let's see where I'm at. All right, there we go. Let's get rid of some of these. I don't want to get rid of that one. Let's move this one over. Okay. Well, that light, I'm trying to give it a way that we can get more light on me in the evenings, because it just gets too dark and I'm in the living room. I have to do it in the dining room. Let's see how that does. So anyway, maybe that'll work. Little shade on the side, little sun on the side, I guess. Yeah, that was me. Get the old coronavirus thing. They have these little, this one I thought was really cool because it had a little, little tip in here that could breathe, and there's a little filter that goes behind that, and that flap opens when you blow out and closes when you breathe in. But a lot of places now, at least here in Utah, they don't let you go into, doctor's offices or any kind of place like that with this, because it only protects you and it doesn't protect the other people. So they're wanting us to stop using these, start using ones that don't have the little valve thing. I don't know if it really makes a difference as far as breathing in and out any easier, but anyway. Canada's cool. Yeah. Las Vegas is terrible. My daughter was there and they went to the pool to try to cool down. It was like 114, she said. They had to leave after a short while. It's just too hot. Oh, yeah. I wonder if that's true. Let me try that. Let me go turn off that light. See if that does something. Let's see. I'm going to go over here. And I'll come back. Still some light out there from the sun, though. Okay, here we go. I guess that added some more. That probably did okay. I could probably even move it less in my face now. Okay. All righty. Thanks for the suggestion. All righty. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, Ju. Yeah, so let's get going. I'll take some of these questions here that people are asking. First one there is Ju says, has a replacement for Get Satisfaction been implemented yet? And sorry about that. It was a mix-up between the two companies. The company that we contract with to do Get Satisfaction decided that they didn't want to they weren't going to continue to support Get Satisfaction, and we didn't get the good contact, and so they turned it off. It was a surprise to us, so we're sorry about that. But they got it right back up. We talked to them and worked out arrangements so that it would stay up, and we'll be spending the next little while working on an alternative. We already have one. There's one called Communities, so we're looking at whether that would work or not. So we're going to be looking for a place for those to want to submit questions or make comments, and we believe that that's important. So we'll find a place and get it there. So that's what happened to Get Satisfaction. Everything else, everything that was entered in came back, so it's there, and we have a little time now to figure out what to replace it with. Okay, so Diane, I'm trying to understand your question. I like to work on the sources they give me on the landing page. Oh, okay. Why is it that many are already question mark? I'm assuming already attached. So what's happening on the landing page? This is the home page, the logged in home page, where you've already logged in. It's the first page you go to before you can go over to the tree or to memories or whatever. And that home page looks at your tree and walks up so many, like 6 to 8 generations up and 4 or 5 down, and finds things that need to be done there, like sources or like there's records or data problems and things like that. So what happens is that there's several of your relatives have the same set of people that you have. And right now we don't, it's something we're looking into doing, but at this time, what we do is we offer those sources or those little suggested things to do to everybody who's related to that person. And someone could come in and take care of that source, attach it or whatever, or dismiss it, and it would still be on other people's lists, because we only calculate that list when you first come into the system, and we don't refresh it regularly just because of the resources that it consumes on the servers. We're just trying to minimize that so we can give you the best possible speed on your other work. Any downside to relationship viewing? Okay, let me talk about relationship viewing. I think that it depends on how security conscientious you are. You need to be aware in the contact, if you go to settings under your name and you go to contact, that's where you can turn that on and off. But the important thing is to know in the, I can't remember, it's off the top of my head right now. It's over on FamilySearch. Let me go over there. Go to settings, and then you go to contact. That's where you can, you go to contact, and at the bottom of that, that's where you can turn on relationship viewing. But on that same page, there are 4 or 5 things that you can turn off to share with other people. And you always have to share your contact name. So if you feel uncomfortable with your contact name matching your real name, just change it to a different name. And then you have the option of sharing email, phone number, mobile number, or address, or the location, meaning what country you're in. And what I recommend is you go into contact, you decide which things you feel comfortable sharing with people. For instance, myself, I only share my email, so I'm comfortable sharing my email. I'm not necessarily comfortable with sharing my phone number or address. So I uncheck those public things, and then I enable relationship viewing, because the only thing they're going to see in relationship viewing is they'll see me, just my name, and they'll see a little portrait of me that's on my home person, my starting person. And then they'll see the words living, but we won't show the living. We'll just show that there's living here. And then we show the deceased and how you're related. So outside of that, there really isn't any information that's confidential per se, other than your name. So that's really the issue there. I think it depends on what you feel comfortable sharing. I don't know why that keeps changing. Like sometimes it's nice color and other times it's not. So I recommend going into that contact thing, unchecking the things you don't feel comfortable sharing. And then, excuse me, I'm just trying to get this here set up a little bit better. Hey, there it is, without it on. Maybe that's just as good or better. So you could decide what things you want to share, and then go ahead and turn on and enable it. And the only thing they're going to do is send you a contact message into the messages system, and you can reply or not reply. They know how you're related, and they know your name, but that's everything they know. And then you choose to share the other stuff. So I don't see any real downside to it at the moment. Some people share lots of their information, like their email address, the phone numbers, things like that. But I personally think it's pretty safe. If you start feeling uncomfortable, or somebody's, talking to you a lot or stuff, maybe you want to disable it sometimes. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. What are the dates for Virtual Education Week that you will be talking? I think they're going to do, I think you have to go to BYU. I don't know when they're going to present my stuff, but Education Week is the 17th through the 21st. Let's go out there and look and see if it says anything about being virtual there. Doesn't really say anything yet, but I know they're doing it because they contacted me to do a class. So I just keep an eye on the Education Week page there and find out when they're going to do it. It's in August, end of August. I'm assuming it's the same time as their normal thing. They just won't have nearly as many classes, I suspect. So that was August. Lists on their thing, August 17th to the 21st. All right. When you come up with a replacement for Get Satisfaction, will you port over all of the current existing information? We probably will not be able to do that. We'll have to see. That's not my group that does that, so I will pass that on to that group to make sure that they can see if that's possible. But odds are that Get Satisfaction has different data interfaces and stuff to whatever other product we have, and that may be difficult to jump over and bring everything that was already there. So I'll sure pass that along, and I'm sure they're worried about that, but we can't not do it, right? All right, Liz asks, what does it mean when ordinances say not enough information? If you are immediate family, contact us. If you are an immediate family, contact us. Why wouldn't it just say request permission if the person is born less than 110 years? Not enough information. Usually not enough information is not related to necessarily related to the 110-year rule. Not enough information means you don't have sufficient data on the person in order to qualify for ordinances. And there's a certain amount of data that you have to have on a person in order to qualify. That you have to have a name. If it's a man that you are putting in, you need to have the first. You can have Mr. Smith, but there's cases when you need to have the father or the father's first name or mother, and to do some sealing. So you really want to get the father's first name and last name. The mother, you can have just Mrs. Smith. If you have her name, obviously we want you to put that in there. But we recognize that a lot of records may not have that kind of stuff. Then you need to have a standardized birth place or death place. You need to have a place in the vitals that's standardized, and you need to have a standardized date in one of the vitals. It doesn't matter whether it's birth or christening or death or burial, you need to have those elements, and you need to have a sex for the person. So name, sex, birth, date, and place, or scattered dates and places in the vitals in either one, any of the birth, christening, burial, or a death or burial. And that's usually what it requires for you to qualify for an ordinance. If you don't have that, it should say you're missing information. If you go to the ordinance tab of that person page, it should tell you what you're missing or where to look. There should be 4 or 5 places to look. And once you correct that, you should be fine. Now, if it's 110 years, I'm going to have to look into that one. You have to tell me a little bit more what happens if you believe it was a 110-year rule. That currently in many countries, if you're not part of the close living relatives, then you can't ask for it, because we believe that those living relatives are still there. You'd have to demonstrate and communicate proof that the others are no longer alive. Oh, it just says a later date. Oh, I don't know when. Then I'll ask them. I'm supposed to go get recorded next week, and we're supposed to have a live 2 weeks from today. So I'll ask them when they're going to actually do it. I don't know. Let's see. I'd have to figure out how to not do the auto, I guess. I'll work on that next time. Thank you. Okay. See, I need to practice doing these YouTubes outside of our own time so that I can play with the lighting and everything. So let me look at some of the questions that people had submitted. There's a question from Linda, and it says, sign in FamilySearch. When signing in, the option for sign in for 2 weeks would be great if it meant it. I find that I need to sign in daily, can this be made to really work? It's not that I'm clearing cookies or computer history that causes me to have been signed out each day. This has been a struggle for that team to get this. I think there's a lot of variables in this mess about 2 weeks. So there's been a lot of struggles. Some say it works great, and it feels like others it doesn't work very well at all. So I'm going to put a little note in here and just ask them sort of status on how they're doing getting that to work. Seems that 2 weeks not working for login. And you know how the 2 weeks works is you're really not logged in for 2 weeks. What happens is you log in and then you say, I want to be logged in for 2 weeks. It puts cookies and things like that on your computer. And then when you come back, we look for that cookie and stuff. If it's there, then we just recreate your login for you using security codes and stuff that wouldn't be able to, somebody else couldn't take and use. So I'll have them look at that one. Linda also asked the one, family history reports. Currently, we can detect how much indexing done in the ward. Is there a way to find out how much work is being done in the tree itself? Sources added, memories, etc. at the ward level. So the only ward level report is a report that comes with leader and clerk resources. That report talks about the number of people that are adding, a number of members in the ward that are adding persons in the tree. I think it might say actually how many. I'd have to go look. Let me go look. I don't know if I can see that actually. I don't know if I can. I don't think they have a stake one. I'm on the stake and I got kicked out of the ward authority to go look at the ward level. So there may be someone else who knows that. So yeah, there's something weird on that 2 week logins. It seems to work great for some people and not for others. But the report from Leader and Clerk Resources, you need to contact one of your clerks or the family history leader in your area to share that report with you. But it's not going to have sources and things like that. It's just people doing family history things in the tree. We want to be careful. We have to be careful with numbers and things like that because we don't want to have competitions between wards and stakes to see who could put the most into a tree. And the reason for that is because what often happens when we do that is we do sloppy work because we're trying to win. And so people just put in all sorts of crazy names that don't make any sense, that aren't right, that aren't correct, just so that they have lots of numbers. We find that sometimes in indexing, where we have wards or units competing with each other to get 1 million indexes, and those that are indexing are clever, and they figure out that, hey, if I just put Luke Skywalker in 1,000 times, then I got 1,000 points. And that it doesn't do any good for us, and it doesn't help any of the cause. So we always have to think about motivation sometimes when those things happen. We have my contributions now that you can personally go in and look at your contributions. It's under the tree, and it's a secondary menu called my contributions or contributions. Let me go look. I was looking at it today because it just came out like yesterday, I think. My contributions, and in there you can look, and I got mixed emotions on it, to be honest, because it's got counts. You can just look at stats, and it tells you how many sources you've put in, how many memories you put in, how many people you've put in, and that's great. But the purpose of that graph is to try to encourage you to keep your level of activity on family history growing or steady. In mine, for instance, I did pretty well in 2017. 18 wasn't very good. 19 did great again, and so far this year, not so hot. It's just because I'm so busy, but the idea is to sort of motivate yourself to say, okay, I'm going to do a little better this year instead of last year, kind of thing. Let me go to the next question there. This is from Linda as well. She asks, computer algorithms in the additional information field, the additional name drop-down menu, when using that field for married name, nickname, etc., does that have any effect on how the search engine gives weight to those alternate versions of the name? The answer is no. Married name, nickname, also known as, we use the same. There's no one gets higher preference than the other. What we basically look is for any sources or possible duplicates or something like that that has that name in there. And it'll match them, say maybe this record's about it and we'll offer that hint, or maybe this person's a duplicate because most everything lines up, but the name is different, but it's one of the alternate, also known as, or alternate names or married names. So it's used to help find those records that may have that other name in it as people change their names along the way. That's its intent, and it doesn't give weight to whether it's married or nickname or also known as. Side note, she says, although the prefix Mrs. Okay, I'm back. I think I lost something there. I come back. Am I back? Can you hear me okay? Is the audio back? Yeah, okay, great. I know what happened. So, okay, let me go. She also says, although the prefix Mrs. is not used in many cultures, I made it a practice to put that in the suffix field under alternate names. So when doing a find search, the name comes up in the search results. Yeah, by doing it this way, fellow researchers will not pick up as many potential duplicates. Example, Mary Jane Smith versus Mrs. Mary Jane Smith. Those results would be more easily sifted through if one knows they don't want the Mrs. version. That's interesting. I think that might be nice for some as you think about how that name is being used. Okay, let's see here. I got a big one from David Cook. Let's see if there's anything out there in live land. In several places, we still need to click past the exact in search boxes. Is it really used enough to make it up for the nuisance factor? When you say click past, you mean tab past, because the exact button is not selected. So I'm assuming you mean tab to it. And yeah, I think we need to leave the exact in there because there's others who really want the exact because they're looking for a particular person. So although most searches probably don't have the exact on, when people want to get to the exact world, then they really want to do that. Yes, and recently they mentioned on here that watch was changed to following. And that's just because, in social media sort of taking over things a little bit, and they use follow, and we wanted to make it familiar to those who come to the site to recognize what that would mean, the follow. So that's a nice little change we did too. We also released the, let me see here, along with the My Contributions, the following is also updated. Just not the name, but it actually has better listing of changes. For example, here's one from Sydney Tanner, that my first one. And July 8th, this particular individual added a source. So I can actually now click the source right in the following list, and it'll bring up, it'll take me to that source, so I could actually go look at that source that was attached to that person. It also shows things like the birth dates that changed, what the original were and what they are now. It'll also show not a matches and source detaches that I can continue to look at and try. And I can click to see, and we'll continue to enhance this as we go along. So that is a new thing that's out there too.